Good evening and salutations, my GH fans. Let's start with Michael, Willow, and Sonny. So, Sonny comes over there to try to broker some sort of truce between Nina, Michael, and Willow as far as Wiley's concerned. But Michael and Willow pretty much are not having it. They're done with Nina, they're done with her lies, and they feel like the way that she's been acting could affect Wiley. So they're just not with it. They're not willing to budge. Even when Sonny's like, if she takes this thing to court, there's a good chance that she might win. And if she wins, like right now, y'all kind of dictating the rules and the schedule and stuff like that. But if she wins, that whole thing can change up. But that pretty much kind of got their foot down, and that's just pretty much about it. And of course, Michael brings up the fact that he's like, oh well, this isn't the first time you chose, Nina over your family. And of course, Sonny starts in with the excuses. Oh well, when I came back, my best friend was married to my wife, and then Jason died, and I was gonna sit there and tell Carly on my own time schedule. And I'm like, yeah, we all heard this before. What I would actually like to hear is a bit of accountability. Maybe that. Could we try that for a change? No? Okay, cool. So pretty much the whole meeting just goes nowhere. And temporary Monica comes in and she wants to declare Jason dead. This comes in from the fact that, when she saw Jake, um, he was kind of off a little bit, and I guess she feels like, the family and the kids and stuff like that shouldn't have to be in limbo, and you can kind of just declare him dead and just kind of, you know, have a sense of closure or move on or something. I'm not really too entirely sure why she feels she needs to do this, but whatever. Um, Now Finn and Monica do run into Jake, and Finn is like, listen, I'll sit there and talk to him. Maybe he'll, talk to me more than he would open up to maybe a therapist or, you or whatever. So Jake at this point, he's pretty much done with therapy. Well, he's done with people blaming him for the stuff that's going on, surrounding Franco as far as the studio and the painting and everything like that. He's over it. He's sick of that, and he's tired of, I guess being called crazy and stuff. Um, he does believe Finn. Finn does believe him when he said that he didn't have anything to do with it. Even if Finn was dating his mom, but Finn is just like, yo, listen, you can't just be walking out like that, and like this is not the way to go about it. Um, I'm gonna be honest. I felt the whole Drew and Liz scenes were somewhat kind of pointless. I mean, the only thing that really happened was Liz once again think that it could be Jake that's causing all this trouble. Other than that, didn't really go too much of anywhere. And when Drew kind of forgave Liz for the whole at that point, like there was a time where people thought he was Jason, and Liz kind of kept the truth from him. He was just all like, "Oh, that was just so long time ago." And I'm like, it wasn't that long ago, and the fact that she still did it, and you're just like, "Oh, it was no big deal." It's like, what? Really? I mean, you're not even harboring a little bit of anger and frustration towards that whole thing. I mean, yeah, granted, we know that you're not Jason now, but still, um, I don't know. Again, the scene really doesn't go anywhere. Um, and Monica tells, Monica tells Liz about Finn, talking to Jake since Jake is clearly not at his at his therapist. So Laura has her meeting with Sam, Dante, and Robin. I'm gonna be honest, I kind of forgot that Sam was there. All they pretty much do is talk about, Victor and the card and everything like that. Now you have Irene that's outside that's like lurking in, trying to find out what's going on. And at one point she walks in and, she wants to know what's going on as far as the meeting is concerned. And she really starts to get off in like, Laura's business and stuff like that. Even after Laura's like, yo, listen, you really shouldn't be questioning me like that. Like, you work for me, not the other way around. But Laura, for some odd reason, even though Robbie was like, what are you about to do? Laura tells Irene that, she's looking into Luke's death. Now, Robert was like, this really isn't a good idea, especially since not that long ago, Laura, I could have swore she said, the less people that know about us investigating, Luke's death, the better. But, okay, sure, fine. Well, one more person. Why not? I mean, she only said it, in less than 5 minutes. She changed it around. She's like, all right, Dante can know, but no one else. Okay, Irene can know, but no one else. Okay, Laura, sure. That makes sense. Now, I'm not gonna lie, the way that Irene was sitting there questioning Laura, even Robert was like, what are you doing? I mean, I know that Irene clearly needs to sit there and try to get some sort of answer since she's being the mole Victor, and, well, let's put it this way, if she doesn't get any answers, there's going to be a bullet with her name on it. I can guarantee you that. But she's being a little bit too obvious at this point. And yet Laura still told her what she was doing. So, okay. Now, Anna and Felicia go to some place to try to look for records as far as, Luke's death to sit there and try to see if they can find any proof or whatever. So they talk to some guy and they convince him to take a look at some of the hard copies of, the accident that was on the bridge. Anna finds some sort of inconsistencies with the report, and because the guy's outside now. What they don't know is that the guy that was like, "All right, fine, you can sit there and look at the records," is calling Victor as they're sitting there looking through the records. And of course, when the guy tells Victor about the two people that walked in and gave him the description, Victor was like, "Oh, okay." So I knew they were around, just didn't know they were actually there. Victor told the guy to pretty much take care of both of them. Because the guy was already kind of nervous, like, yo, listen, they're poking around, like, my name is on this stuff, like, I don't want to go down for this. And, Victor's like, you won't, because you're going to deal with it. So the last scene that you see is the guy walking in the door, with a gun, pointed at Anna while she's sitting there taking pictures of the, you know, of of the records. Now, I'm going to be honest, I'm surprised that her back is turned towards, a way that, towards the door when the guy can come in at any minute. And mind you, Felicia isn't there. Felicia thinks it's a good idea to sit there and kind of chit chat with the guy, buy her coffee or whatever, because, she was faking like she was crying and stuff like that. And Anna thought it was like, Anna just let her do it, which is kind of odd because Anna seemed like more or less that they were going to be kind of glued to the hip, watching over Felicia. But now you're just kind of just letting her just walk around, just doing whatever. So I don't know what's going on with that. So where was I? So Ava and Nina are talking about Sonny, advocating for her because, Ava was like, what's going on with the whole custody hearing? Like, are you still going to be suing for visitation rights? And Nina's like, listen, I'm not going to sit there and just kind of throw in a nuclear bomb just yet. I'm going to sit there and have Sonny. Well, she was like, Sonny said he was going to sit there and try to talk to Michael and kind of reason with him. And, Nina was like, listen, I'm not doing it yet. I mean, it's still an option. But one of the things that Nina said that was kind of funny was that, when Abe was there talking about any sort of romance or whatever between them, Nina was more or less kind of ready to kind of pump the brakes on that because she was like, oh, well, I saw a different side to Sonny, then I'm like, you're not talking to Mike. Like, she kept saying, like, oh, well, I saw a different side to him than, like when he was Mike or whatever. And I'm like, well, he has his memories back. The hell is wrong with you? Honestly, tell you the truth, I'm not gonna lie. I felt like when she said that, she was just like, "Oh, I don't really know if I'm gonna pursue this or whatever with him because I saw like a different side or whatever." I'm like, like me and Ava both kind of looked at her like, But you have no problem with Sonny Smith going to bat for you as far as Wiley is concerned. Okay, cool. That makes sense. Um, of course, didn't really get too much into it because Victor came in there, and while Nina was pretty much kind of, giving him an attitude, Ava was not there being all nice and sweet to him. Now, when Victor went outside to make his call to, do his nefarious plans, Nina was like, "What are you doing? Why are you being all nice to him for?" Now, Ava tried to make up some sort of cover story, like, "Oh, well, they're just very complicated and complex and stuff like that." And Ava pretty much was not giving any more information. And they kind of both agreed, like, "Listen, we're not gonna sit there and bring up Sonny and the romance, and you're not gonna sit there and bring up Victor and whatever the hell is you plan on doing with him." One of the things that I did find interesting about their little meeting with Laura and Dante and everyone else was that, they was not talking about the card and activating him. And, Laura's like, what happens if Victor does activate Drew? And Dante pretty much was like, they couldn't do that with the card that he has. So later on in the episode, Victor does reach out to Drew. It's like, "Hey, listen, I'd like to sit down and talk to you. Can we meet in a private place?" Um, Now, one of the things that Victor was meant to talk about with one of his bodyguards was because the bodyguard was like, "Listen, what happens if you sit there and try to activate him again and it doesn't work?" And Victor was like, "Listen, if we can't sit there and control him, then we'll just take him out." So obviously, they're not going to really sit there and take him out, but they're going to at least attempt to, get rid of Drew. And and Drew did sit there and he did agree. I think he agreed to meet up with Victor um, to kind of start up whatever this plan is going to be as far as taking Victor down. Should be interesting. I'm going to be honest. I did this like 3 times, so I feel like I kind of got everything across. Um, I didn't like how the other two are coming out. I really didn't. And I don't know if it's just me being a perfectionist or just like, I don't know. I don't like to sit there and put out anything. And after the first couple of tries, I was like, you know what? Let me just kind of just take a break, get something to eat. I've been up since like what, 5 in the morning. So I was like, let me just kind of just take a rest for a minute. Nice, real nice. So yeah, sorry that this video came out kind of later than I wanted it to, but it's one of those things. It's like I'd rather put out something that I think is good rather than just putting out blah. Um, Overall, I'll sit there and say this episode was okay. Um, yeah, I'll sit there and say this episode was okay. Wasn't great, wasn't super terrible. It was kind of just middle of the road. And again, I could have did without the whole Drew and Liz scene because once again, it didn't really go anywhere. So, also, I thought temporary Monica actually did a decent job compared to the last temporary Monica that they had, the one when they had Nell on screen, because she was bad. I definitely have to sit there and say that she was a lot better. So, with that being said, I'm gonna go. I want to thank you for watching. Be safe. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below, and I will see you in the next video.